Hi, class. It is my first time to do this split screen. I think it'll be a little nicer than the other videos, but we are looking at alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding angles. So please have your packet out, and I would like for you also to grab your notes on alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding angles, and also consecutive interior angles. And let's have you pause this while you take a look and refresh your memories about them. Okay, we're back. So we are going to do several problems together because I think the trickiest part of this is just finding those angle relationships. So let's just get started. This says line MN is parallel to line PQ. Use the diagram to answer the following. Now what I did was I went ahead and I highlighted the parallel lines, because to find these angle relationships, you really want to find the parallel lines. Now, corresponding angles are on the same place on the transversal. So if you look at this one, angle 1, the one that corresponds with angle 1 is angle 3. They're both on top of the parallel line under the transversal. So 1 and 3 are corresponding, 2 and 4 are corresponding, 5 and 7, and 6 and 8. Those are corresponding. Alternate interior, the interior refers to inside the parallel lines. Alternate are on opposite sides of the transversal. So 2 and 7 are inside the parallel lines on opposite sides. So those are alternate interior. 6 and 3 are also alternate interior. And then exterior, they're on the outside of the parallel lines. So 1 and 8 are alternate exterior, and 5 and 4 are alternate exterior. Okay, so let's get started. It says name any two pairs of corresponding angles. Well, we already went through that angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding. So we're going to write that down as one pair, angle 1 and angle 3. And we also have 2 and 4. So angle 2 and angle 4 are also corresponding. We're going to skip 2, and 3 is name any two pairs of alternate exterior angles. Again, exterior means outside the parallel lines, alternate on opposite sides. So 1 and 8 are alternate exterior, and angles 5 and 4, alternate exterior. Okay, so let's look at number 5. Line AB is parallel to line CD. Here's AB, here's CD. I'm actually going to highlight that just to help us see this. Those are parallel. And it says find the measure of each numbered angle. So we've got 3 numbered angles. We've got angle 1, we've got angle 2, and we've got angle 3. So what we need to do is find, we know that this angle is 97. We know that this angle is 82. So can we use angle relationships to find the measure of each angle, numbered angle? So if I were looking at this, here's my 2 parallel lines. This is a transversal. This angle 1 is on the right side of the parallel line on top of the transversal. And 97 is also on the right side of the parallel line on top of the transversal. That means that these two are corresponding angles. And remember, corresponding angles have the same measure. They are congruent. So we are going to write that angle 1 is 97 degrees. Now, angle 2 is on a different transversal than angle 1, or than angle 1. So we need to ignore these if we're on this transversal. Now, can you see the relationship between angle 2 and this one? If you can see, they are both corresponding, and if they are corresponding, they're the same measure. So angle 2 is 82 degrees. Now, angle 3, if you look, angle 3 and 97 degrees, they are both adjacent and they are supplementary, because if you were to add 97 degrees plus angle 3, you would get 180 degrees. So we are going to take 180 degrees and we're going to subtract 97 from it. And that will tell us the measure of angle 3. So I'm going to borrow 10 minus 7 is 3, 17 minus 9 is 8. So angle 3 is 83 degrees. All right. So let's go on to number 7. Again, AB is parallel to CD. So let's find our parallel lines. Here's AB, here's CD. And then we need to find the measure of the numbered angles. Okay, let's see how we can look at this. I can see that angle 1 and angle 2 are inside on opposite sides of the transversal, so they are alternate interior. So whatever angle 1 is, angle 2 is also. Also, if you will notice, these lines make a triangle. And if you'll remember, a triangle is 180 degrees. Well, this angle right here, because of that little box, we know that it is right, so it is 90 degrees. So if we know these two angles, we can figure out what this angle is. So we're going to add 46 plus 90, which is 136. And if we subtract 136 from 180, that will tell us what angle 2 is. So we've got 180 degrees minus 136. And if you were to subtract, you would get 44 degrees. So angle 2 is 44 degrees. Well, again, angle 2 and angle 1 are alternate interior because they are inside. So angle 1, if they are alternate interior, they are congruent. That means angle 1 is also 44 degrees. All right, let's move on to 9. AB and CD are parallel. So let's highlight that. We are looking for angle 1 and angle 2. And is that it? Angle 1, 2, there's no 3. So angle 1 and angle 2. All right. If we are looking at this, I need to, these two measures are going to help me somehow. I know that 73 and angle N are vertical. And what do we know about vertical angles? We know they're the same measure. So that means angle N is 73 degrees. Now here are my parallel lines. Here's the transversal. Angle N is on top of my parallel line on the left side of the transversal. And if I'll look on this parallel line, the angle that is on top to the left of the transversal is angle 1. So that means that these are on the same relative position on the two parallel lines. They are corresponding, and corresponding angles are congruent. So angle 1 is 73 degrees. Now angle 2, you need to look at this transversal now. We are ignoring this one. We're looking at this transversal 2 lines. If you would see, let's see how, there's a few ways we could do this. If this one is 98 degrees, angle R is corresponding. So that means that angle R is also 98 degrees. Okay? Now, angle R and angle 2 make a straight line if you were to add them together. And a straight line is 180 degrees. So if we subtract 98 from 180, that will tell us what angle 2 is. I'm just going to do that very quickly. 180 minus 98. That would be 2. 17 minus 9 is 8. So angle 2, angle 2 is 78. 8, whoa. Okay. 82 degrees. The tricky part again is just training yourself to look for those relationships. Let's look at 11. AB and CD are parallel. Ooh, this is a very AB, CD. All right. This is a little different. The directions say AB is parallel to CD, find the value of each variable. So if we were to look at this, the variable is K. All right. Now, this angle right here, if I can figure out what angle M is, I know that this angle plus this would be 180 degrees. So can we figure out what angle M is? If you'll notice, angle M and this angle are corresponding. They're both on this, the kind of to the bottom right of the parallel lines. They're both on top the transversal, so they're corresponding. So that means that this angle is 15 degrees. Okay, so if I take this angle, which is 15 degrees, and I add this angle to it, it would give me 180. So let's write an equation. 15 degrees plus 5K degrees equals 180 degrees. All right, so we're going to subtract 15 from both sides. 180 minus 15 is 165. That cancels out. We've got 5K. Divide both sides by 5. So K equals 165. We could probably do it in our heads, but let's just do it out here real quick. 5 goes into 16 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. If you were to subtract, you get 1, bring down the 5. 5 times goes into 15 3 times. And no remainder. So K is 33 degrees. All right, let's look at number 13. All right, this one is a little more complicated. AB is parallel to CD, and MN is parallel to PQ. Find the measure of each numbered angle. All right, so we've got 2 sets. I really should get, I'm gonna go get one more highlighter. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So let's highlight, we've got 2 sets, all right? Find the measure of each numbered angle. Okay, again, we've got 1, we've got 2, 1 and 2. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, the first thing I've noticed is we've got to use 100 degrees somehow in this. And so what I am seeing is if I were to look at the orange parallel lines, 100 degrees and angle 1 are both inside. But we are looking at this transversal. So you are kind of blocking out this part, okay? So here's my 2 parallel lines, here's the transversal. They're both inside, but they're on the same side of the transversal. And those are consecutive interior, same side inside. So look at your cards, and what do we know about consecutive interior angles? We know that they are supplementary. That means angle 1 plus 100 equals 180 degrees. So what do you add to 100 to get 180? Well, 80. So angle 1 is 80 degrees. Let's just write that out here. Angle 1 is 80 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to write that. And if angle 1 is 80 degrees, I notice that this, if we're looking, now we're looking at, I'm going to cover this up, because now we're looking at the blue parallel lines and this transversal. So if angle 1 is 80 degrees, the angle on top right here is on the same general location on different parallel lines. So they are complementary, they are corresponding. And so if this one's 80 degrees, this one is also 80 degrees. Now, do you see the relationship between this one and angle 2? They are supplementary. So angle 2 plus 80 has to equal 180 degrees. So angle 2 is what? 100 degrees. Very good. All right, let's look at 15. We've got two sets of parallel lines again. We've got AB and CD are parallel. And then we've got MN and PQ. MN, PQ. All right, let's take a look at this. Then we got this line that's going through. This is interesting. This is a transversal both through the orange and through the blue. All right, so we are looking for the measure of each numbered angle. Let's take a look. We've got angle 1 here. We've got angle 2 here. And that's it. Somehow we're going to be using these to help us. Now, what jumps out to me is if I were to cover up this part. Okay, do you see the two parallel lines in the transverse? And that is the relationship between 42 and 2. 42 and 2 are what type of angles? They are corresponding, and corresponding angles have the same measure. So if this one is 42 degrees, then angle 2 is also 42 degrees. So let's write that down. Angle 2 is 42 degrees. All right, that helped. So now I need to find angle 1. Let's see, okay. Need to take a look at it. I just need to kind of cover this up and cover this up. We're looking right here. And I know that this angle and this angle are corresponding. Corresponding angles are congruent. So if this is 80 degrees, this is also 80 degrees. Now this angle and this angle are supplementary. Supplementary angles make 180 degrees. So if this angle is 80, what is this angle? It's 100. So angle 1 is 100 degrees. Angle 2 is 42 degrees. All right, I hope you're seeing these a little more easily. All right, the last section we're going to look at, the diagram below shows the flag of the Czech Republic. Line MN, line PQ, and line RS are parallel. Lines AB and CD are straight lines. Identify each pair of angles as vertical, corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior, or none of the above. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just highlight the parallel lines because that has been our MO, and that really helps sometimes with looking at this. All right, 17 asks us to look at angle 1 and angle 10. So here's angle 1, angle 10 is down here. Okay, and if I were to look at this, They're both on a parallel line. They're both, here's the transversal all the way. So I noticed that angle 10 and angle 1 are inside the parallel lines. The question is, are they on the same side of the transversal or opposite? Well, here's your transversal. Angle 1 is on top the transversal. Angle 10 is below. So they are inside the parallel lines on opposite sides of the transversal. What is that relationship? It is alternate interior. Okay. Angle, or number 19 asks us to find angle 4 and 6. So here's 4 and here's 6. Oh, interesting. They share this line, they share a vertex, and then this line. What do we call this and this? You remember from one of our earlier chapter or one of our earlier lessons? These are vertical. So angle 4 and angle 6 are vertical angles. All right, last one. Name 2 angles. We're going to do 21. Name 2 angles that have the same measure as angle 5. So angle 5, here's angle 5. Okay. So we can look at what types of angles have the same measure. Well, vertical angles have the same measure. Corresponding angles have the same measure. Alternate interior have the same measure, and alternate exterior have the same measure. So we just need to find 2 of those relationships. Now, one thing I've noticed is the lines that make up angle 5, there's a vertical relationship in there. Do you see the angle that shares a vertex and is on opposite sides when 2 lines intersect? If this is 5, then 8 is one of the ones that have the same measure. So I'm going to write that on number 21, number 8, and we need to find one more. Okay, here's angle 5. It is on a transversal, on a parallel line, and here's a parallel line. So we are going to look at these, the top 2 parallel lines. Here's the other line that makes up that angle. There's the transversal. So we can look for alternate interior. This is inside the parallel lines. Which angle is also inside the parallel lines, but on the opposite side of this transversal? If you're looking, you will see that angle 1 is also congruent. So angle 8 and angle 1. There are others as well, but they just asked for 2. All right, class, so I hope that this helps you see the relationships. If you struggle with any of them, you can call me during my office hours. Have a great day, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye. How do I save it?